Hello guys and welcome to another video. Today we'll be going through 1.1.2 types of processors. To understand the different types of processors, you would first also need to know what an instruction set is. An instruction set is a set of all instructions that can be written in machine code, and the CPU can understand it and then execute it. So there's two different types of processors, and one of them is the complex instruction set computers, which is also known as CISC. So CISC processors, basically, they try to complete instructions in as few lines of assembly as possible, but this also means that they would probably need more complex circuitry to understand and execute the instructions. This means the compiler has to do less work to execute the instructions, but this may take more than one clock cycle. And here's an example of what a complex instruction set instruction might look like. It kind of originates, it kind of looks like it's from like a higher programming language, and that's because it's in as few lines as possible. And most CISC processors are often found on desktop PCs and often are like x86 or x64. Like for example, this Intel chip right here. And then you also have reduced instruction set computers. And reduced instruction set computers have a small instruction set, and they use much more simpler instructions. And the main aim is to complete instructions within one clock cycle, unlike the CISC processors. Complex instructions such as multi AB would not exist because it's not as like few lines of assembly as possible. It's just more simpler, if you know what I mean. And it would be spread out into a bunch of like simpler commands. It has more lines of code, which means that more conversion work is probably going to be necessary, which means more RAM. But with RISC processors, they often require less transistors because it's going through one clock cycle, and they would often need less complicated hardware, leaving more room for general purpose registers and cache, which increases efficiency. Most RISC processors are ARM, so your phone chip and the recent Apple ARM series in their computers and the Snapdragon Elite processors in Windows, those are all ARM. So they're often found in phones, tablets, and some ARM-based PCs. And then you also have GPU, or also known as the graphical processing unit, and it's a coprocessor. So GPUs are often used to render graphics, but they're not just limited to that in the modern age. GPUs often have tons of threads, tons of processors within them, but they normally run much more slower than computer cores. But this theoretically doesn't make them slower than a CPU, because GPUs are better at doing complex stuff like working out matrices and stuff like that. So theoretically, GPUs are speedy in certain tasks, and CPU and GPU have different aims. So GPU can be used for multiple things like Bitcoin mining and stuff like that. And nowadays, with the prevalence of AI, it can also be used for running AI. GPUs are not just used, they're like a coprocessor, originally for graphics processing, but they can be used for much more now. And that's the entire of 1.1.2 types of processors. Hope you found this video helpful.